I'm Mike Uyak. I love to try new things, and I've had culinary adventures all around the world, as well as right at home. I've had really wonderful food, as well as some really horrible food. I'd like to share some of my adventures with you, and we'll see if I have what it takes to fix whatever goes wrong. This is Recipe Redemption. Hey everyone, welcome back to Recipe Redemption. Today we're celebrating the all-American treat sensation that is the hot dog. In this vintage recipe from, I honestly have no idea where this comes from, but it is a worthy inclusion on this channel. Behold, Furter Bursting Tater Squirters. The name. The name. Honestly, I can't find any other evidence that this recipe actually exists other than in this book of kooky cookery of odd vintage recipes. So I don't know if this is a real retro recipe or if somebody's trolling me, but ultimately it doesn't matter. I'm making the damn thing and there's nothing you can do about it. And actually, looking at the recipe, this may be a little bland. Because if you look a little closer and avert your eyes from the title, I see that it's just a hot dog split down the middle and covered in instant mashed potatoes to which parsley, onions, and pimento have been added, along with French's cream salad style mustard, which, according to my research, is what became known simply as French's yellow mustard. So nothing exotic there. That's it. Uh, and I guess the name is a bit of a hyperbolic way to describe how your wiener is so packed with just so much hot, salty, creamy goodness that it just squirts all over the table. Damn it, I almost made it. Let's just cook this thing. And here we go, starting off with 2 cups worth of my instant mashed potatoes, which I just made per the instructions on the box, to which I add chopped onions, some chopped parsley, get all that in there, and pimento. Yeah, I just used jarred pimento. Good healthy grind of pepper, probably about a half teaspoon, and mix to combine. And I set that aside. Meanwhile, I prepare my wiener, and one day I'll learn to actually check to make sure that my subject is in frame. But anyway, split down the middle, good healthy squirt of yellow mustard, which I'm just going to smear around with the back of a spoon, and then cover with a healthy dollop or 3 of my mashed potato mixture. And do everything I can to sort of spread that out evenly so it fully covers the top of the hot dog. And here's what it looks like when it's in the center. Further bursting tater squirters! 10 minutes under the broiler and it looks something like this. So, as expected, pretty bland. Not really that offensive, but it's a hot dog with mashed potatoes on it. It leaves a lot to be desired, and especially when they show it, that's your meal, is a hot dog with some mashed potatoes on it and broiled. I'm not sure. I think we can do better. Um, my idea is Spudfurters. All the tastes of an American hot dog and fries, but inverted. Chop up the hot dogs with some sauerkraut, mix in some eggs, some pickle relish, and a little bit of ketchup and a little bit of breadcrumb to kind of make a decent meatball. And then bread that using mustard infused uh, batter with potato and deep fry it. Um, I'm also going to try just using that potato batter to uh, coat a whole hot dog. See if I can make sort of a Spudfurter. Instead of a corn dog, a potato covered dog. Let's just see. This is totally an experiment. I have not tried this before. This is the development kitchen. Let's just see what happens.
So to start off with, we have 4 hot dogs. This just feels wrong, but whatever. And I'm adding, I didn't really measure, about enough sauerkraut, about the amount of sauerkraut that I would put onto 4 hot dogs. So, that seems about enough. And to substitute for the relish, again, just having some chopped dill pickle. Add to that 1 whole egg, expertly cracked, and some breadcrumbs. I'm adding what ends up being about a cup to this. And one thing I didn't actually film, but I did actually add, is tomato ketchup.
Without a recipe can lead to dishes some might consider to be unnatural.
I didn't want huge chunks to this, so I ended up processing to what ended up being kind of a cat food consistency. In the meantime, here's my batter. Again, another couple cups of my instant mashed potatoes with about a half a cup of flour and a half a cup of milk. I didn't want this to be too bready. I wanted it to be more potato-y, so I went a little light on the flour. This might have been a mistake. And I want some of that mustard flavor in there, so here's some yellow mustard into the batter itself. And whisk to combine. I don't want to work it too much because I didn't want too much gluten to form. Again, that may have actually been a mistake, but here we have what appears to be a nice smooth batter. Here's where the fun begins. Taking a ball of my hot dog mixture, dredging in some flour to hopefully get the batter to stick a little better to it, and then dunking in the batter itself. And because this meatball here is so soft, it's kind of hard to get this battered up without squishing it. And then drop into some what turned out to be not quite hot enough oil. And this is what came out of that oil. Yum! The baked version cooked a little more gently, and so it actually held its shape, but still not great. And I even tried making a sort of a shepherd's pie with the leftover mixture. Yeah, about that.
I have regrets. That was deeply, deeply disturbing. Um, the filling was too goopy, it was too pasty, so there was nothing solid enough for the batter to hold on to, so the batter kind of bubbled off. And everything was too moist. So everything boiled as it cooked and it just fell apart. Um, Flavor wise, it needs a lot of work too. Really, uh, well, just the whole concept, because even the baked one that I did, it held together a lot more. It kind of flattened out, so it almost looks like a ravioli. But because I ended up processing the hot dog mixture fairly fine, and it never really set up into anything sort of solid because it was still kind of boiling in the middle. It never really uh, developed a texture of its own. So it had the texture of mashed potatoes all the way through. It wasn't just coated with mashed potato. It felt like you were eating mashed potatoes all the way through. It just sort of smushed in your mouth, and there was no clear demarcation between the coating and the hot dog meatball in the middle. Honestly, the best one was the ersatz hot dog shepherd's pie that I ended up making with the leftovers, uh, because that was contained by the ramekin that I was using. It had a chance to dehydrate a little bit, set up a little bit better. It still has the texture of hot cat food, but the the flavor was actually better. It's it's possible that if I actually spent some more time on this, I could develop it into something worth serving to someone else. While I was finishing up and cleaning the kitchen, Chris came in and said, "Oh, what are you cooking?" And I said, "Don't ask." She said, "Is there anything worth eating?" And I said, "No, I'm not going to subject you to this." Um, but I think with a little tinkering, it is possible to do some things. Now, mind you, part of the problem is I'm using the instant potatoes as my source of potato starch. If I were to actually go with potato flour and make a batter, or even better, make a sort of a dough with some wheat flour and the potato flour, then you just make a wiener in a blanket kind of thing, but with a potato roll instead of just a straight wheat roll. Another thing you could do is spiralize uh, a full whole russet potato, spiralize it, and then wrap those sort of potato noodles around a hot dog and deep fry that sucker. And it would be crispy and crunchy on the outside with a nice hot dog center. Those are some things that I could also do, but I wanted to keep with the spirit of the original recipe and use the instant mashed potatoes. And they just don't really offer you any sort of structural building block. So keeping it primarily instant potato meant that I you just can't really cover it uh, and cook anything other than baking. Um, it just wasn't going to work as a batter quite the way that a wheat based one would. I maybe with a little bit of tinkering I could come up with something, but yeah, I don't know if I want to spend that much time on it. So, what do you think? Do you want to try giving it a go? Take a crack at it. See if somehow you can make a mashed potato covered hot dog edible and good, and something more than what the Ferta bursting tater squirters ended up being. Give it a try. I applaud you if you do. If you don't, I understand. So until next time, I'd like to thank you for watching. Please remember to, if you haven't already, to remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell down below so you know when I post a new video. And keep the ideas coming. I'm definitely always open to any suggestions for recipes that I should try. So until next time, I'm Mike Uyak. Thanks for watching. Ferta bursting tater squirters.